Should a motivational speaker hire a manager? By the end of this video, you're going to have the pros and the cons as to whether or not you should or shouldn't. I'm going to give you every option as to why you need to consider it and maybe not as well. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so you've just finished a gig. You got a standing ovation. Oh man, everybody loves you. You're overwhelmed. The phone won't stop ringing. The emails are coming in. You need to have somebody manage this. Or do you? Are you able to handle it? Can you self-manage, or do you need somebody else to manage for you? I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of self-management, and then I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of having a manager as a motivational speaker. I'll be real candid though, before I begin, this is an extremely touchy subject, so I tread lightly. I have self-managed and I have been managed as well, and so I'm going to do my best to navigate something that people are very passionate about. I hope this helps you. So let's first talk about the pros of self-management. Number one is the power of making your own decisions. That's a nice thing. You get a phone call, you can swing a deal, you can do whatever you want, you can turn it away. You have all the power when you answer the phone, and that's a nice thing if that's what you like. In fact, I know some speakers that like doing that part of the business more than even getting on stage. What about you? Number two is you directly handle negotiations and agreements, and you like doing that. You know, years ago, I liked to actually write up the contract. I enjoyed typing in my CRM that I had a gig coming. I enjoyed that process until I didn't anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. So that's when I went to having a manager. But at the time I was self-managing. And so if you have that personality that you like doing that, then maybe it's a good idea for you. Number three would be skill building. What's nice about running and self-managing your own career is that you're going to learn every aspect of the business, from marketing and branding to sales and accounting. You're going to be an entrepreneur. And so if that's something you want to learn or you've been in business for already, that's a really great thing. Number four on self-management is cost effectiveness. Now, think about this. When you manage yourself, you don't have to give a percentage to anybody else. You're just taking the entire fee for yourself. That's a sweet thing. I have a friend, his name is Ross Bernstein. If you go to rossbernstein.com, he's written more books than any speaker I've ever known. He's one of the best speakers in the world. What's interesting about Ross is that at one point he was managed by Speaker Management, and he had a hard time with that. Why? Because he loves negotiation. He loves connecting with the client. He wants to know them personally. He wants to swing deals. He wants to work a lot. He loves to be on the road. Ross Bernstein, you go check him out. One of the best speakers in the world and a guy that manages everything by himself. It's amazing what he's done with his career, and he has aligned himself with other speakers. They refer each other. He loves to self-manage. There's a famous example of an entrepreneur who likes to run everything himself. His name is Elon Musk. Now that might be a controversial name to say on a video like this, but I want you to think about it. Should he hire a manager? Most people would say yes, but he likes to manage everything himself. He likes to change logos to things that are famous. He likes to mix things up. And so he feels that he'd rather self-manage. It all depends on the person, and it depends on what you want. Now let's talk about the cons of self-management. The number one con of self-management is it's a time crunch. I mean, think about it. If you're busy speaking and you're on the road and you're doing all those things, how on earth do you have time to take care of the client, to answer all the calls, to deal with the contracts, to go through all the details? There's a lot going on. Unless you have a powerful assistant or somebody running the show for you, being your own self-manager is very difficult because of the time crunch. And what's interesting about that is you could also spend that time crafting your speech, working on it, becoming better, but most of the time it gets gobbled up in the daily activities of managing yourself. And then there's complexity. Oh man, the complexities of contracts, international negotiations, or international law. I've had challenges where contracts came to me from places just as close as Canada or Mexico, and then overseas in Malaysia and in Europe, Australia. The contracts alone were enough to make me say, man, maybe I need a manager, somebody that can look at this, a lawyer, someone who can help me. And so think about that, how important it is to be able to say to yourself, yeah, do I really want to deal with this? And number three is the mental toll of self-managing. I mean, think about how much time it takes anyway to just get ready to get on stage and to be great. You probably need to meditate and work out a lot and do a lot of different things that you wouldn't have time to if you're managing yourself. It kind of reminds me of the restaurant owner owner who decides he wants to save a little money so that he can make more money overall. So instead of hiring a host and a chef and a server and a janitor, guess what? He does them all. Oh, is that the guy you want making your food? The same guy that cleans the toilet? The same guy that sat you down? Not in most cases. And so think about if that's something that you really think that you can do, whether it's time crunches, complexity, or this, I want you to think about how much you really want to do all of those types of details. The mental toll is crazy. I have a friend named Chris Bacchinelli. If you look up his website, it's chrisbacchinelli.com. Chris Bacchinelli is one of the best speakers in the world, and this is a guy who is excellent on stage. He gets up there and he just exudes brilliance and beauty. He's one of my favorite people, but he absolutely does not want the mental toll that it takes to manage himself. He'd rather be surfing. He'd rather be working on his meditation and his body and his mind, getting ready to be great on stage. So he's always had management. Let's talk about some of the pros of having a manager. And before we do that, let me just give a shout out to Chris Bacchinelli. I mean, this is a guy who absolutely knows and lives what he's best at. That's his zone of genius, right? Like, he has established his signature move. He knows he can keep the promise to himself. And so I admire him so much for doing that. So here we go, let's dive in. So as you think about the pros of hiring a manager and changing everything that you possibly have going on while you're running your own business right now, I want you to think about this. What it comes down to is you need to know your job and be the very best at it that you can be. And I made another video about this that maybe will help you in conjunction with what we're about to talk about. If you want to type in this exact title, you'll find it. How to be the best at your job. Yep, that's it. Go check that out, and I appreciate you checking out that video as well, because I know it'll help you as you come to a decision to what you should do with the management that we're going to talk about now. First pro about having a speaker manager running things for you is expertise. Yeah, they have been there, done that. Speaker managers, they usually are somebody who's been in a bureau, or they've been a speaker themselves, or they have just run so many things for so many speakers. They know exactly what to do, who to negotiate with, how to counter offer, and how to handle everything that comes their way. It's a pretty awesome thing. And another thing that's cool about them is that they've seen the other side of the speaking business that you don't even see. They can see your blind spots. They're able to see parts in your marketing that could be shifted just enough so that you could get way more work. It's almost like having an entire team of people that can help you that you can't help yourself when you're self-managing. And number two is network expansion. What's cool about these managers is most of the time they have relationships with what's called IASB, which is the International Association of Speakers Bureaus. They can help you get showcases, and they can get you opportunities you could never get yourself. They've mostly been a part of bureaus. If you're not familiar, bureaus are the ones that get you as many gigs as possible with the clients they already have. So they're just filling essentially slots for a company that's looking for the next speaker, and you could be the next one if you have a manager that has a relationship with the bureau. They also have great relationships with groups like MPI, Meeting Planners International. You get in front of those types of people and IASB, you can get so many showcase opportunities. It's crazy. I have friends that have showcased for IASB, and it has allowed them to work for over a decade because one showcase went well, and it was through their management that helped them get that. And number three, this allows you to focus on your core skills. I mean, you're a speaker. You're good at that. You should be writing books, creating content, doing your practicing and all the other stuff you want to do as a speaker. Why waste your time running your business? And so they help you with all of those things. I'm going to give you two that you should consider if you want to be exclusive with a bureau and exclusive with a speaker management. The first bureau that I would recommend is Executive Speakers Bureau. I've heard nothing but good things from the people that have been represented by them. I know people that have left and have come back because they wanted to be represented by Executive. So you can check them out. They're pretty darn amazing. The other one that I really recommend is CMI. CMIspeakers.com. Go check them out. In fact, I used to be represented by CMI. And Karen Harris, she is a genius. She has done so many things in the industry that has helped so many people, including many of my friends and me. And the only reason that I left CMI and that we had a falling apart, if you will, was just that I like to do a lot of these things I was talking about. I like to self-manage. I like to have relationships with the clients. I like to connect. I like to negotiate. I like the business part. They, CMI, wanted to run all of those things, and I like to run them too. And so we just realized, hey, you know what? This isn't a great fit. Why do I still recommend them? Because I know speakers that are not like me. They want to just be great on stage, and they are. She represents, and CMI represents some of the best speakers in the world, including some that you need to look up. Let me tell you, go find Vin Zhang on vinzhang.com, Clint Pulver at clintpulver.com, Ty Bennett at tybennett.com, and Sean Bott at seanbott.com. These are some of the greatest speakers in the world. They spend all of their time on stage because they have a great speaker manager in CMI. So go check out cmispeakers.com and maybe you'll be next on their roster. Now let's talk about the cons of speaker management. The first one is they take a fee. They take a financial cut. Now, a majority of them will take 25%. Sometimes they'll take up to 35%. That might feel like a big chunk. But when you think about it, you know, if they're taking that amount, they're probably also getting you a lot more gigs than you could get yourself. Number two con about having a manager is that they might have a loss of vision and you might have a loss of control of what you want your career to look like. So if you're in the wrong situation with somebody, they might have things looking different than you want, and you want to get out of that as soon as you can. And number three, the con is contractual obligations. This one's challenging because you get locked in with manager and they've done things for you that you can't do for yourself, but also now it gets really sticky because when you break up, I've had experience, at least heard about these from some of my friends, which was really bad. They couldn't get their contacts back from the speaker manager. That's really gnarly because now they're like, what do I do? I mean, I have to start over. Luckily, when I worked with CMI, they were gracious enough for me to still have what I had and they had what they had. We made it work. But there are some contractual obligations that are hard to work through. There are legendary stories of this, not just in the speaking world, but in performance in general. For example, Taylor Swift lost all of her royalties, lost all of her ability to own her own music. The same thing happened to Billy Joel. Some of the greatest artists of all time have been trapped in bad contractual obligations. You don't want to have that happen. There's a story with Elvis Presley. If you saw the movie about Elvis Presley that came out a couple of years ago, this was a really interesting story. Most people don't know that him and his manager signed a contract that they would do 50-50 split. Oh man, what a crazy deal. And a lot of people say that without the Colonel, Elvis never would have been. And so it just depends on what you think you need as an artist, as a speaker, as a performer, whether you need a manager or not. So if you're on the fence about hiring a manager, I hope I've given you some of the pros and cons of self-management as well as having a speaker manager. If you're in the midst of trying to figure out what you should do, and I've fielded so many calls from people on the fence about what they should do, I hope that you'd be willing to reach out to me. Just go to jasonhewlett.com and let's talk about it. But I hope that I can help you, and I hope that today this has helped as well. My best to you as you decide whether or not you should have a speaker manager in your career.